Thanks for the support as a channel member, Aiden C97. Well, after a tough start to life at Peterborough and lots of money spent with not much to show for it, we actually finished the season as the form team in the Championship. I have no idea how much money we're going to have to spend today, but I do have a plan, and fingers crossed we're about to do a spectacular transfer window that sets us up as, at the very least, a nice, comfortable mid-table team. That's what we're all looking for. Mid-table obscurity. Hello and welcome to Club 2, Part 6 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have our season review and transfer special at the end of what is season 6 of the series. Of course, our first season here at Peterborough. In actual fact, we only did half of this season at Peterborough, so we will check in on Lemington as well today to see how they got on under their new manager. Spoilers, probably not very well, because their first few games that we checked a few days ago didn't go very well at all. So these are our new signings. The majority of these were brought in by me. In fact, is it only showing me the ones I signed? No, it's not. There's a few here that were brought in before I arrived as well. So signing of the season, Daniel Ballard, can't really argue with that. An absolute steal for £1.7 million from Bournemouth. He's come in and averaged a 7.28 playing at centre-back. I came in and said our central defence didn't need any change. And we've come in and brought a defender who's just much better than what we had there before. He is an improvement. He is the best centre-back at the club now. Reece Welch has come in, and he's definitely looking like a decent option for us at centre-back as well now. Mustafa Kilic, the same thing. We've signed 3 very good Championship quality centre-backs, and I don't know, we might be moving both of the ones on that we said just 6 months ago were good enough to set us up for a long time. Eric Gallagher also came in and was a great signing, and won Championship Young Player of the Month towards the end of the season. 5 goal contributions as well from that left-hand side. And Ryan Brewster, eventually, once he got over his injury issues, I think he had 4 separate injuries after scoring on his debut, but finished things off with 8 goals from 11 appearances, averaged less than a 7, but that's more to do with how many times he was playing for us when he wasn't fully fit, and we were kind of just trying to force games out of him, and he was coming back with 6.2s and things like that. Once he actually got fit, he looked pretty impressive, including that one game where he got 4 goals. The board were hoping to avoid relegation, and we did avoid relegation. We finished in 21st place, which pleases the board. Tyrese John Jules finishing as our top scorer with 9 goals is a situation I hope to never see happen again. A single-figure top scorer. With less than 10,000 people coming to our home matches as well, we need to build some excitement around Peterborough United, make this a place where people come to hang out and enjoy their football. Brewster got goal of the season, which was that goal he scored in the last episode on the final day of the season. And it really was a thing of beauty. And finance-wise, we have spent more money on players this year than the club ever have before in their history. But that's off the back of increased sponsorship, increased match day revenue and prize money. Broadcast revenue down a little bit on what it had been previous years, but we don't really know why, because we don't know what had caused it the year before, because we weren't here. Top shirt seller is Brewster, as you would expect, our £5 million all-time record signing, with other new boys, Gallagher and Anderson, in there as well. They were the 3 that arrived on the 2nd of January that we'd already arranged before the window even opened. Radoni and McCormick, the only 2 who were here before I arrived to be on that list. And Radoni is probably on his way out the door unless he has a change in attitude when it comes to how much money he should be getting paid on a potential new contract. Team of the year then is going to be an interesting mix of my boys and the ones that were here before me, which is why it looks quite as odd as it looks. So it's Balcom in goal. That back 4 that was here when I arrived of Ullman, Hughes, Kitching and Olasunde. Hughes never really got anywhere near the team in the second half of the season, and Kitching, more often than not, was playing left back. Clarkson and McCormick in midfield. Again, Santiago pushed into there. Anderson pushed into there. They rarely played together in the second half of the season. And this is why the team was struggling so much when I arrived. Philogene, Bidachi, Radoni and Nelson with John Jules up front. He went out on loan. We're going to look to sell him. We're looking to sell him. We're looking to sell him. And he's going back to his parent club from his loan. So that entire front 4 will be different for next year. And there's changes throughout the rest of the team as well. We are in the middle of a revolution here at Peterborough United. So fans player of the year was Olasunde at right back, 29 years old, with no real backup is why we need to be signing a right back this summer. Andy Nelson got Young Player of the Year. Signing of the Year went to Ballard. Goal of the season, Brewster, as we know from both of those previously. John Jules, top scorer. McCormick, top assist maker. And Olusunde with highest average rating and most man of the matches. We also set new club records. Most assists in a season, McCormick with 8. And highest transfer fee paid, as we know, is Brewster with £5.22 million transfer. The all-time best 11 is fairly meaningless because most of this happened before we arrived, so we won't get too bogged down in that. What we are interested in is what our transfer budget is. If this is anything more than 5 million, it's going to be a fun plan. If it's anything less than 5 million, then we're definitely going to have to sell quite a lot of players to be able to do what I'm hoping to do this summer. It's exactly 5 million. That's probably okay. I don't know what that is. It's a massive reduction in wage budget. Yikes. So actually, yeah, we're going to have to do some severe shuffling here. We're going to have to move some players on. That wage budget is a long, long way from ideal. Not really sure why they've hammered that as much as they have, because we weren't £60,000 a week over our wage budget before, or £50,000 over. We can't really do anything until we can move some players on, which is not really what I was hoping for this summer. I've got plans for who I want to sell. I didn't want to have to sell them before I could do anything, and it's not letting me make budget adjustments, which is equally frustrating. So the board are looking for me to carry on as we have been, attacking possession football, signing players under the age of 23 and developing our own young players, plus making the most of set pieces. It all fits into how I want to play football anyway. This is pretty much the Peterborough philosophy in real life and my philosophy in Football Manager. It's no coincidence that as a Peterborough fan, this is how I always like to do things in all my saves. So I fit nicely into what the club are looking for. The 5-year plan is to continue signing young players to sell at a profit, work within the wage budget, which we're miles off of now, and offering a minimum of 2-year contract. That's still a weird one. It was weird when we arrived. It's weird now. They're looking to just avoid relegation again whilst growing the club's reputation next season. Forget that. We want to jump ahead a year and establish ourselves as a championship team. We've been in the championship now for 6 years, is it? Yeah, we're 6 years into the save. 6 seasons. We need to be establishing ourselves after 6 years. We can't forever be in a relegation battle every year, and that's really what it's been. Apart from that first season, it's been 5 years of relegation battles. No wonder we're getting less than 10,000 fans in the building. We need to be properly no fear of relegation, established mid-table, so we can start attracting higher caliber of players to try and have a push at those playoffs at some point. It probably won't be this coming year, but maybe the year after, a push at the playoffs if we do things right this summer. Dynamics-wise, Hughes, we're probably going to move on. Olusunde and McCormick should still be here next year, though. And likewise, Redoni, Kitching, John Jules are all players that are likely to be moving on. So we're shifting probably half of the playing staff on if we can. But the idea is that we're going to be bringing in better quality players to complement the best half that was already here. That's got to be the plan. But of course, we are going to have to sell to be able to do it. But we do have Luan Silva available to be part of things now that he's going to be able to be registered after we brought him in January, and of course had the little balls up where he wasn't able to play because he'd already played for two teams previously. So he's a big deal. But now we need to kind of decide who we're going to be selling and get them lot out of the door. That's nice. Tyler Goodrum has won National League Player of the Year for Lemington. Maybe they did turn things around. 29 goal contributions for him, and Lemington ended up finishing 3rd in the National League. It's not a terrible season. They have got promoted. They've won the playoffs. Lemington are in the Football League. Oh, that is fantastic. Lemington have made it to the Football League. That means they're going to be going full-time, presumably. They are professional. They've immediately gone professional. It's what we needed all along. And the new guy has come in and finished off what we started and taken Lemington to the Football League with a group of players. I mean, these are my boys. Is there anyone there that I didn't sign? I don't think so. My boys have made it to the Football League, and I love it. And I was right about Mo Issa as well, who's grabbed 17 goals as a 32-year-old. See, that's all it needed. He can move on now. He won't be able to go back to the Football League. But what a season for him. Occo Flex, 14 goals but no assists. What a weird season for Armstrong, Occo Flex, but Tyler Goodrum, 12 goals and 17 assists. What a player he looks like. Have we got him scouted? I think we scouted the entire squad. Not good enough for the championship, but excellent in the conference. That is brilliant. Lemington are in the Football League. I will endeavour to check in on them regularly to see how they get on. I hope they survive. I hope they go on to build something really cool there. And I hope I'm on the favourite personnel list. I am. As the man who started it all off. Quite right too. Right. Who are we going to sell? We've got to find 60 grand a week in wages. Probably shouldn't have signed him, but Radoni can go. Hughes can go. That's 40 grand there. Kitchen can go. That's your 60 grand. If we get rid of those three, not only does that bring us back within wage budget, sort of almost, it also would probably bring in the best part of £20 million to add on to the transfer budget. We only get to retain 30% of it. That's not ideal. It's almost as if we spent too much money before and now we're being hampered by this. I don't think my plan is going to be able to work exactly how I hoped it to this year. Maybe we can't sell too many of our championship quality players, of our better players, because we might not be in a position to bring too many more in. I need to have a ponder and work out what I'm going to do. It is the 9th of June, which means the transfer window is open and we have been doing some shuffling around business. There are players out the door. There's one guy in, but let's start with the players that have left. So far, Ronnie Edwards to Middlesbrough for £1.5 million. He's a player I would have liked to have kept around, but we signed those 3 centre-backs in January. There's just no room for him. He wasn't going to play regularly, so to get any kind of money for him is good. We'll certainly take that. Likewise, Romany Critchlow, 28 years old. I don't really know what we were thinking bringing him in last summer. And the club were probably thinking we won't sign 3 more centre-backs immediately after. But we managed to make a slight profit on him. He's gone to play for Hibs. And we've signed Joe Hugill on a free transfer from Rangers. Manchester United youngster, formerly of Sunderland, went to Manchester United, went to Rangers for £850,000. After, he scored 20 goals for the Rangers B team. Never really broken into the Rangers first team, but still only 23 years old. Decent potential, and I think a proper backup to Brewster for this coming season as we look to move some more of those attacking options out of the club. You can see there's lots of potential business still going on. Really keen on this guy, Harvey White, off of Tottenham, a central midfielder / defensive midfielder who's better than any other midfielder we've got at the club. So we'd very much like to bring him in. He'd be a free transfer if we can get him through the door. There's a couple of other youngsters as well that we're just making tentative offers for. Potentially won't even finish and go through with those. There's other players leaving the club. Tesson is going to Sport Boys, who play in Peru. Is he Peruvian? He is Peruvian. That explains why he's going to play in Peru. But he's been playing for us for 3 years and scored 12 goals. That is no goal return for a striker. £725,000 for him. Gets him out of the club. Tyrese Omotoy, one of the other strikers, hopefully going in a £500,000 deal as well. Charlton and Ross County in for him. And we've been able to shuffle the wage budget and transfer budget around. In fact, let's just do a little bit. We don't need to shuffle yet until those transfers actually go through. But at the moment, we're sat there with a £2.5 million budget, and we can actually cover the wage budget of the club as well now. There's also been a cash injection to the club and all the sponsorship money paid for this year. So we've now got 15 million in the bank again. So overall finance is looking a lot better. Although the club still won't give me an increased transfer percentage retained. They won't improve the training facilities, any of that kind of stuff. But I think we're slowly but surely moving in the right direction. I think it's going to be a long summer for me. Obviously, you'll just see the highlights of it, but I think it's going to be hard work getting rid of some of these players. Ian Paveda as a perfect example. I just don't want him around the club. I'm never going to use him. He's on £6,000 a week. Let's get him out the door. We're never, ever, ever going to use him. And John Jules, Omotoy, Tesson's obviously already leaving. If we can get big offers for the likes of Radoni, Kitching, Hughes, then that gives us a little bit of spendy money. But at the moment, the focus is still getting players out the door that we don't plan to use, If we notice any bargains like Hugo come up in the meantime, we'll bring them in. Otherwise, we're kind of waiting for the 1st of July. And because our transfer budget is so low, I think we're probably going to try and do this transfer window non-league style and rely majority on free transfers. I don't know what kind of free transfers we're going to have being in the Championship, but we will give it our best shot. But first, we need to continue shipping players out. So that's my focus now. It is the 1st of July, and you know what that means? Contracts have expired. We actually didn't really have anybody to leave. Kyle Dempsey's the only one from last year's first team squad, and he'd been out on loan at Carlisle with them paying his full wages anyway. We have got Ben Christine come back in from his loan that we sent him out on, so we probably need to get him gone, although it looks like we've immediately had a new offer or several new offers in to take him on loan. We'll just offer him out for transfer as well, because I don't see myself ever using a player with only 3-star potential. We are getting a lot of offers in for Ola Sunday. We've agreed a transfer value of £14.5 million with him, but we're getting all these weird offers from clubs all over the world who want us to still pay most of his wages. And it just doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, even that deal, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. We'll just reject them. The problem is he's now getting the I'm being treated unfairly nonsense going on. Hopefully, Fulham will come in and offer the £14.5 million. We have agreed with him. But this whole agreeing thing is just broken in FM22. It's clearly broken. Tesson's deal has gone through. We knew about that from before. Got a few more players heading out of the club. We brought these two in, just youngsters that I don't expect to be straight into the first team, but just youngsters to be in and around the squad. Samuel Adai is a 20-year-old right back who comes in, I think, from West Ham. He's got 4-star potential. And Mark Tickle is a youngster from Arsenal, central midfield player. Again, in fact, he's got 5-star potential. Just a couple of youngsters to add into the squad that we can feed into the first team over the next few years and potentially sell on for a profit or turn into half-decent players. Don't expect either of them to be straight into the first team. But we've got all these offers coming in. We're not letting Harrison Burrows go on. We turned down £3 million from Derby for Harrison Burrows very recently. We will, however, let Christine go to Rochdale for 100% of his wages. These two need to up their offers, though, if they want to have a chance of getting him. Southend are offering money for Philogene Badachi, which we've actually accepted a loan offer for him. But if they're going to give us money up front, despite Southend's bid, his preferred destination will be Millwall. Millwall haven't made a bid, you numbskull. So you can go there. We're going to cancel the loan offer that was in for him because we want him to go permanently. So let's cancel that. £1 million of him would be excellent business for us at the moment. And what's this? There's still another transfer that I've not noticed. Oh, is there another one for Ola Sunday? What's this? Powack have offered not enough money, so we'll reject that one as well. Easy. It's easy to keep rejecting all these offers that are way below his asking price. But on the flip side, at 29, yes, he was one of our best players last year, if not our best player last year. But at 29, if we can get anywhere close to £10 million for him, I'm not going to say no. But I'm also trying to learn from previous mistakes. Just because he's 29 doesn't mean he's a pensioner. He's been at the club for 4 full years. He's been virtually ever present for that time. A great player for that time as well. He could be in this first team for another 2 or 3 years. So I'm not desperate to move him on either. But it is the 1st of July. This is what the squad is looking like before we've added anything to it. So we've only really got Brewster as an option up front. John Jules. I mean, look, if we can get anywhere near that for him, that's insane money. But at the same time, he's not a terrible backup, so I'm not offering him out until we've got someone better as a replacement. Hugo's there as our 3rd striker option. We've now got Silver as an option on the left-hand side. He is in the mix there and also as an attacking midfielder. We're very strong in the attack, weirdly now. I think maybe one more striker could come in, but in the wide areas, we're looking very good. I'd like an attacking midfielder if we can. Central midfield, would always like extra bodies in there. Centre-back, we're well sorted. In fact, the entire back four is looking good. We could do with some reserves for left back and right back and a backup goalkeeper. But I think in general, the squad's looking pretty good. You saw us at the end of last season hit some good form. I'm not going to be distraught if we don't do much business. But what we are going to do, as ever, is chat to my assistant manager and see what we've got available in free transfers. Nothing is what we're seeing. Yikes. Okay. This ruins that side of the plan a little bit. Shola Shortire was in my Peterborough team last year in non-league legend. So 2 left wingers. We'll get them in on loan. We'll obviously check what we've got previously scouted as well. Slim pickings, though. So that potentially ruins that side of the plan. I have to rely on my scouts after all. And the scouts are probably the weakest section of our off-field team. Now we've updated the coaching setup. The scouts probably need to be the next area that we address. Right. Can we have players who are unattached, please? This is where we should get a few more. Yeah, see, we've got a few more here. This is a bit more like it. So let's bring a bunch of these in, take some trials in, and fingers crossed, start adding some players into this squad. We're not signing Shola Shortire this time around. That's absurd. Free transfers might be harder to come by than I first thought. Oh, I think we're going to be having one of those summers. It's already the 9th of July. We've not been able to secure any of the free transfers we were after. Here's another example of it. This is a player who was released by Dortmund. He would have been a great option for us on either wing. We were able to offer him a contract, but he's decided to go to Levante instead. We've now changed our attention to try and bring in players who are going to cost us money, but obviously we don't have much money to spend because we've shifted some of it to wage budget. Ernest Poku, another example. He'd be a fantastic signing. He's exactly what we need. Who says he's only 20% scouted, but he's an attacking midfielder and we really need one. He's got 5-star potential. He's at Manchester City and loads of clubs are after him. West Brom and Leeds have both had offers accepted. So he's obviously going to go to West Brom or Leeds. And it's happening time and time again. Meanwhile, the squad is getting ever smaller because we've now sold Philogene Bidachi. He's gone to Southend for £1 million. Ben Christine has left the club as well. We're currently operating on a first-team squad now of 21 people. I think I mentioned it earlier. If not, Andy Nelson has returned on loan for another season from Chelsea. We've accepted an offer of £3 million from Portsmouth for Harrison Burrows. But the big sales we're expecting to go through this summer, Kitching, Hughes, Radoni, they don't look like happening. Olasunde as well. We're not getting those offers in. So if the big players aren't leaving, I'm less inclined to feel the need to replace them. The team still looks pretty good. It's still largely the team that finished last season so well. So we might have a change of tactic soon, not football tactic, transfer tactic, and just focus on bringing in some youngsters as reserves for these players. Although I know as soon as we do, that's when we get the offers for Olasunde and Kitching and Radoni, and then we end up having to buy twice as many players. Curse you, FM22, and your insistence on making deadline day so important. It really ruins my summer planning. We didn't get Poku, as you can imagine. He went to Leeds, and now I think this one's a big risk. Ethan Ennis, you've seen the amount of money these players coming out of big clubs want. He looks like he's going to be great. He's a future Premier League player. The only problem is, at the moment, he's coming in as our 8th best attacking midfielder. He wanted £30,000 a week. He's earning £24,500 a week at Manchester United. He's going to be our second highest player. But we are just really struggling to bring anybody in. And he plays in the exact position we need to strengthen. I think we go for him. And that could end up being a mistake. But I've been sat here for several hours getting very frustrated that I've not been able to sign anybody. So we're going to start overpaying. There you go. We've given him the number 10 shirt. That's got to be a sign that he's quite good at football. He's going to be very, very good. I mean, even if we end up selling him on at a profit, he's going to be a very, very good player. He's just not there yet. It's an awful lot of money to pay to a player who's only got 14 games in League One 4 years ago to his name. Hope I don't regret that one. How much is Poku earning at wherever he went? That's a different Poku. Hold on. Poku. The one that just went to Leeds. Why can't I find him? There's two. There he is. Ernest Poku. Two different Ernest Pokus. This one's not as good as the other one. 12 grand a week. We offered him 18. We can't even throw money at players to make them come to us. One good thing, I did remember this guy existed. Remember when we first arrived, he was out on loan. I said he was one for the future. Well, I've just remembered he exists. So that's an extra player into the first team squad. We have our backup left back now. We still need a backup right back. We still don't really have one of those. We could still do with an extra striker. But it is, I mean, it's a squad that you'd be happy with, I think. We probably need a backup keeper as well. We have money to spend still, even with that signing. We will find more money to spend, more people to spend it on. Worry not. The story that obviously you're getting the behind the curtain view of this, the story that the Peterborough fans are being told about this quiet summer and why we're selling more than we're buying, is that obviously we front loaded our business. We did all our transfers in January. Now we're just paying for them by selling a few players and finishing things off. It's all being marketed perfectly. It'll be fine. Right, things are starting to happen now. And because of the business we've done earlier in the summer, the board have now increased our transfer revenue retained to 80%. Almost immediately, like the game was waiting, we've now finally had an acceptable offer for Matt Olosundi come in from Brighton. £12 million up front, plus a little bit more on instalments. That would mean, what, £9 million going into our transfer kitty, which would give us over £10 million to spend all of a sudden. It's about to kick off, boys and girls. We have also signed a couple more players as well. I let my head of youth development bring someone in for the under-23s. We won't do that again. And we've signed this guy, Keith Dempster, as our third striker, plus another option out wide. He's come in from Stoke. He's been out on loan in League Two, League One the last few years. Never actually played for Stoke, but we were able to pick him up for £375,000. You can see he's come straight in with a big value and bags of potential. Only 21 years old, already a championship standard player with the potential to improve a lot, which I interpret that as this boy's got the Premier League in his future. And that gives us the possibility of maybe letting John Jules go if we get an offer for him. I'm not desperate to let him go because he can provide cover across that front three. We've got 7, 8 players at the club who are natural left wingers now. We're pretty set on the left-hand side, but now we're just waiting to see what happens with the Olosundi deal. Obviously, we do need another right-back. We don't have a backup right-back currently. So if we're letting our first-choice right-back go, signing a right-back all of a sudden becomes priority number 1 for the summer. He's 22 years old and looks really good, he says, based purely on looking at his... I mean, he's not at all scouted, is he? He is being scouted at the moment. Right, we're looking for a right back. We are trying to solve that problem, assuming Olosundi is definitely going now. So there is your confirmation then that Olosundi has gone to Brighton, £14 million. He's earning £36,000 a week. They're much more than we were paying him. And for a 29-year-old, you can't really complain at that kind of business. He just has been virtually ever present for the last 4 years on the right-hand side of the posh defence. And he is going to take some replacing, but it does mean we've now got that £10 million transfer budget to try and replace him with. Let's just shuffle a bit more into the wage budget. We had to give him a big pile of cash to let. Why do managers include that sort of thing in contracts? We just need to calm McCormick down, let him know that we do have a plan. I don't know what the plan is yet. We do have a plan. We now need to go and spend this money because at the moment, this squad is looking, I don't want to say weaker than when we arrived. I think we've got more quality throughout. We just don't have enough players. The media, I think, in 16th place. I would take 16th place, an easy 16th place, where we never flirt with relegation. I would absolutely take that. Well, this wasn't part of the plan. We're having to sell Ellery Balcom as well, our goalkeeper, our only goalkeeper, 3 days before the start of the season, because we did the same thing we've been doing all along. With all these players, we agreed a fee that we didn't think anyone would meet. He was valued between £1.5 and £2 million. We got him to agree at 4.9. Everyone was happy. And then Blackburn immediately came in and offered him it. So rather than risking a mutiny, we're selling him. We don't currently have a goalkeeper. It'll be fine. Right, one panic signing is in, Rule Walters, who we only had 10% scouted, but we were that desperate for a right back. We've thrown the money at him anyway. He's 22-year-old German, former under-20 international, started at Arsenal, went to TNS in Wales, then Kaiserslautern and Hanover in Germany, and is now back in England in the Championship. And was he born in Germany? He wasn't, so presumably he's taken the German citizenship while he's been playing there for the last few years. I guess he might have some German citizenship in real life. Who knows? But he is in as a right back. We needed one because we didn't have one. So expect to see him used. We have a similar situation brewing when it comes to goalkeeper, because we haven't really been scouting goalkeepers because we didn't anticipate needing one. So the goalkeepers we've got available on our scouting, very slim pickings. If we go to the director of football, which is usually a get out of jail free card, he's offering nobody. I don't know if this has been broken in a recent patch, or if ours is just rubbish, or if it doesn't work higher up the leagues anymore. But I've had almost no director of football recommendations all summer. Let me know down in the comments what on earth is going on there. So yeah, we're going to stop that from going through. That's my director of football. I mean, if that's all he's doing, brilliant. So we've made an offer for this guy, who again, very minimally scouted, 46% scouted. Fingers crossed, he is better than Balcom, which is what it says he is. He's 20 years old. I don't know if he's going to get a work permit even, but he's not fully scouted. He is the best of the bunch that we had on our scout reports from previous, and I don't know if we're going to get him in before the first game of the season. The result comes back. Oh, God. Next one we're trying to bring in, Max Dean. Max Dean is a right winger. We need a right winger. He can also play up front. He looks like he's going to be great. So we're going to try and bring him in as well. We've got money to spend now. It's all he wants us to strengthen goalkeepers. Max, you don't even know the half of it, my young friend. But we're going to try and get you in. Let's get rid of all these bits that we don't like anybody to have. In fact, we're not going to lower that because we're competing with other clubs for him, and we really want him. Who else is in for him? Oh, it's only loans. Fingers crossed he wants to go somewhere permanently. There is obviously going to be a lot of transfer business in tomorrow's video once the season has started, because we are not close. The players leaving have left so late in the summer that this whole transfer window has been turned on its head, and we are not at all ready for the new season to begin. It feels like a disaster unfolding in front of me. Fingers crossed it all works out okay. And the young goalkeeper has got a work permit, so let's find out together if he's any good, because he's not fully scouted. We play in the Championship today. It's not disastrous. He's got a lot of potential. He is slightly better than our backup, Matthew Cox. He's considered a League One standard player who will potentially be good enough for the Championship in the future. Long term, he's likely to be our backup keeper. He will almost certainly play today if he's fit and available. But, oh my word, stop offering for players, Liam. You could have really helped me out earlier in the summer, but now you're just annoying me by offering for players constantly. Oh, God. So this is likely to be our team for the first day of the new season, which will be in tomorrow's videos. Besic, who's just arrived, not close to match fit. So Cox is going to be playing in goal. We have got Luan Silva in to make his debut. Excited to see him play. But other than that, it is very much the team from last year. Walters, of course, who's just arrived, is going to be slotting in at right back. Now, remember, this is large. This could be like the Lemington transfer embargo summer all over again. Because what we've accidentally done here is we've got an 11 there where only one of them is a new signing. we might start the season in the same form we ended last season in, and we've still got a whole bunch of money to spend before the transfer window slams shut as well. £11.5 million of budget still to spend. And I think we're going to learn very quickly what we need to spend it on. But who knows? This could go one of two ways. If it all goes wrong, I've got 24 hours to figure out who to blame before we start the season against Crystal Palace. Oh, if you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.